Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new chapter of our Open Innovation Thursdays. My name is Marisol Menendez. I'm an open innovation enthusiast, practitioner, fangirl, geek. I've been working in this for more than 15 years. And, well, my passion is leading me to not only write one chapter in the Oxford Handbook of Open Innovation, which, by the way, was the last chapter we presented, but also to interview each week one of the authors, the authors of each of the chapters, 57 chapters of the Oxford Handbook of Open Innovation, published in February 2024. We've been on this already a year and a half, a little bit more, and it's been a very exciting road because we get to know amazing and incredible people, just as Justyna, who is connecting today. How are you?
Hi, Marisol. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for connecting. I always like to begin asking our guests, where are you connecting from? What's your name and what do you work? What's your position right now?
Okay, so I'm joining you now from Melbourne. So I work at RMIT University, Melbourne, Australia. I'm the Vice Chancellor Research Fellow Innovation Management.
It's very nice because when we connected, you said you're finishing your day. I'm beginning my day, no? And this is one of the great things about these conversations. We are connecting with people from all over the world, a true open innovation exercise that was promoted by the edition of this book. So we are very happy to connect all the way to the, how do you say?
Down under.
Down under, no? Thank you very much for connecting. And we always like to ask our guests to please introduce yourselves. Can you share with the audience, what do you do? What's your career, your background, and your interests?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, I'm the Vice Chancellor Research Fellow here at RMIT. I mainly study open innovation and very broadly digital transformation, and how mainly I'm also focusing how corporates and other companies are building internally and open innovation capabilities. And before I moved to Australia, I actually did my PhD in Finland in Lund University. And my topic of my PhD was actually organizing for open innovation. So it was already, I won't say how many years ago, but quite some. And that was the time that I actually came across open innovation for the first time, where we also noticed that quite a lot of companies, even like large corporates, are actually building dedicated open innovation functions. And even while scouting or searching for different job offers, you could actually quite interestingly, you could see that there are even open innovation managers, professionals, so that kind of, new structures which are being created. So that actually sparked my discussion, my interest into, so what is it exactly that they're doing and why they need it? Because you could kind of think that this is normal, that companies, they collaborate, right, with other partners. But actually, as easy as it is, it's actually not in practice. And that's what I found also with the research. And at the same time, doing PhD, I think also in my case or in Finland in general, it's very much also practice oriented. And I worked quite much on different projects with other universities and also with other companies. And one of the projects that I was involved was OINET. It was the project which actually involved more than 50 partners from 35 European countries. And the project was about open innovation education from the perspective of how universities, what exactly knowledge, skills, and capabilities universities need to teach the next generation of professionals who will eventually step out of the university and join the workforce. So with that, we also worked quite closely with different companies and trying to understand their needs. So what they expect also from this future graduates as well. So that's how open innovation was very much already part of my career from the start, and very much also focusing on the teaching. So within open innovation, like OINET, we actually developed quite a lot of different resources, and we also generate different curricula, how also it could be taught across different disciplines.
That's so interesting. And also, well, at the end, we're learning on the different paths that we can get to work in this. At the end, the open innovation field is also very varied, multidisciplinary, and it's very interesting to listen to your own history and adventure. Part of this adventure brought you to write chapter number 51 of the Oxford Handbook of Open Innovation. It's the first chapter in the part 9 of the book, which is open innovation and teaching. So you were saying that you are focusing more in teaching, and so it makes sense that you are in this chapter. Your chapter 51 is titled Teaching Open Innovation in Business Schools, which for me sparks interest from the beginning because we are bringing practice and academia together in just this title. And you also co-wrote this together with Jonathan Sims. So the chapter is written by Justyna Dabrowska and Jonathan Sims. How come this chapter was integrated in the book? What was the role with your co-author? Why did you feel that this should be part of the book?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think, that's as much as this is like a very wonderful Bible, you would say, on the open innovation, there is so much of information about the different from the research perspective and the theory. There's a lot also from the practice as well. But the teaching, I think, is a very integral element because we have to still put our research also to good use and teach it as well, and also collect all that different expertise, what is happening outside of universities, and also try to very nicely embed it to our teaching. So I was actually invited for this chapter to write, I think also based on my expertise within the OINET project. And at the same time at RMIT, I'm also teaching open innovation. So we have one course which is dedicated fully for open innovation, and this is taught on the bachelor level. We also have now even the minor within the Bachelor of Business program, which includes 4 different courses, which also go into the open innovation minor. And at the same time, I also teach from the next year executive MBA in innovation management and technology management, with also focus on the open innovation. So I was invited to help out with writing this chapter together with Jonathan Sims. And Jonathan Sims was, I think, also, he's very much interested in teaching open innovation and also bringing his knowledge back to the community. And he was also hosting, I think, different workshops during World Open Innovation Conference related to teaching. So we joined forces and then try to actually interview and also check what is happening elsewhere, because the OINET project that I was involved, it's already kind of was a decade ago. So we wanted to also have the refresh of what is happening now, how also how open innovation is being taught in different around world. So we got different input from people trying to share actually their syllabus, trying to also identify and give the insights of what they teach, how they teach, what kind of frameworks they're using, what kind of cases they're building, and where it also sits within their broader programs. So it was very nice also learning experience for us to actually gather that information. We noticed that there is open innovation, as we've already heard that people or companies understand open innovation differently. The same kind of happens on the teaching perspective. So it's also being taught different way, and different things, elements are being taught. But what is quite nice to see is like it's being taught on the bachelor level and postgraduate level, and of course also on the PhD level in the little bit different different knowledge is being shared and with different approaches. But it's still, I think, quite nice to know. And this is what we try to emphasize in our chapter, and also give a good glimpse of exactly this, what we gathered across all the different people teaching it at the moment, in terms of what kind of cases they use, how they do it, what are the other perhaps interactive tools that they still try to integrate, and what are exactly the skills that they try to teach.
And this is very interesting, because at the end we have this challenge, and I continuously been asked, like, where do I study to do what you do, or where do we hunt down for professionals in open innovation? And of course, we talked before that there's this interdisciplinarity related to what we do, but still there are some skills connected to this, no? So what's the main learnings and conclusions of your chapter? What you are sharing here as main idea?
Yeah, so with that, I think the most learning, and I think like key insight, I think to emphasize for the future is, like, as much as open innovation tries to be open, it's also good that we as the educators try to be open and also try to share our learnings, our even approaches with between our community. And what also is most important, as you said, is that cross-disciplinarity. So it's also important that whatever we are teaching, we also try to learn from other adjacent even disciplines. And we also try to bring that kind of cross-disciplinarity in our teaching. And hopefully it will also extend. Now I think that there is another big challenge related to the teaching is, of course, the AI. So how we can also teach with AI, because I think this is also quite important for open innovation professionals as well, in terms of how, in an ethical way, but also how they could speed up the process, even in terms of technology scouting, in terms of also validating or selecting particular ideas. So I think this is the next chapter, and I think next challenge, not only for educators, but for researchers and for practitioners.
That's, of course, a transversal challenge here. But I also think that even including these new technologies, what we were saying as basic challenges and skills, and you refer here in the challenges facing open innovation educators, you talk about cultivating an open innovation mindset. And I, in the practice world, find a lot about how do we create culture and mindset. And also you talk about success bias, which is also an interesting thing that nowadays is arising a lot, also related to the KPIs, no? Because the open innovation activity entails a lot of failures. No, at the end you have an innovation funnel, and so the successful bias and the KPIs play an intensive role. So maybe related to these topics, do you have any ideas or anything you want to share?
No, I can say that, very nice that you said about the KPIs and the bias. And for that, I am actually using also the tool that you have developed.
Oh, really?
In terms of the open innovation framework. Yes, there is the one which also you have on the HS Talks, and you also share the framework with the KPIs and how to do that. I am implementing it in class. Yes, so thank you for that.
Oh, wow. We need to keep talking more about this, because I'm improving it, and this is great to hear. You made my day.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, well done on that. And I will encourage everyone to actually go to your website or wherever you have it, and take a look, especially also the practitioners, when they're trying to also think of how to exactly, what could be the KPIs that they could implement for open innovation projects.
That's amazing, Justyna. Well, time flies, and we are in the last part of our chat. As you can see, 15 minutes are a lot, but somehow they are also running fast. We like to have these friendly chats and learn like firsthand from this. I know that we have listeners who are from the academic world, specialized in teaching. We also have many practitioners teaching innovation courses to companies, which I think it's also a good element here. And of course, we will have people learning, no? So any final thought? What do they need to bring in their hearts, the final idea, in case they only can take one? What would be your closure? Yeah.
I think it's always, even for practitioners, stay close also to whatever universities are doing in the research-wise, and the vice versa. So I think this is that collaboration between universities and practice is very much important. So even for the teaching, it's so important to actually also bring the professionals and even industry speakers to the conversations.
Wow, thank you very much, Justyna. And well, we will be looking forward reading any future developments on this, your AI research and any other activities. And thank you very much for connecting and dedicating this time for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Maris, for having me.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone. And we will, of course, invite you to watch and keep an eye for the next chapters. And we are preparing surprises for whenever we finish reading the book, because we are in the final set of chapters. So thank you very much, and we will keep connected. Thank you.
Thank you.